You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra. With me is Shell Bhatnagar, and this is Market Today, a show where we'll share with you the key strategies that you need to follow in the closing trades today. Let's continue to look at how the markets are hovering. Nifty is hovering around 23,540, about 0.3% of a move on the upside is what we can see. On the Nifty Bank, you do see a move of about 0.8%. So the Nifty Bank is now doing better. 50,413 as the current levels for this index too. The broader markets are holding up strong, with the small caps leading the gains a percent higher or so. Sectorally speaking, banks, auto, financial services, the IT pack, as well as gains are being seen on the private banks, PSU banks, and the realty space as well. Private banks and the real estate space are the sectors which are the top movers in the index today, along with consumer durables as well. But there are some of the sectors which have slipped into the red. So the oil and gas, the healthcare index, pharma space, metals, and also FMCG. So it's a mixed kind of a trade is what we see at this point in time. Good afternoon to all our viewers, and good afternoon, Shell.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to the afternoon session on Market Today. As Sakshi pointed out, Bank Nifty is outperforming the Nifty, and that's because smaller banks such as IDFC First Bank and a bit of uptick on HDFC Bank is also observed. But the clear focus, Sakshi, is on cash, and within cash you have tons and tons of PSU stocks, chiefly defense, putting up a great show. If you look at the top 5 traded counters on NSE 500, they are defense. That's HAL, already 4,800 crores. Mazgaon Dock, already 3,500 crores. Garden Reach has exceeded 2,000 crores. And Cochin and BEL are at 2,000 and 1,800 crores respectively. All 5 of them are in the green. And the gains on Garden Reach are now 11%. 6% each on Mazgaon and HAL. Cochin and BEL are up 6 and 2%. And Sakshi, what's really interesting is that top 16 stocks on the NSE 500 list in terms of top volume players are in the green. So that points out to a very nice breadth in the small cap, in the mid cap, in the NSE 500 market, and it shows that hectic speculative activity is doing the rounds. In fact, if you look at the PSU basket minus the rail and minus the metals space, it's buzzing with activity. Look at PTC India Financial Services, better known as PFS, it's 18% higher. If you look at MMTC, 11% higher. STI in STC India, 11% higher. Then you have the usual spots that we are looking in the housing finance space. You remember there was an upgrade on PNB housing by, I think, Morgan Stanley about a week ago. Well, the counters non-stop, now up 5.8%. Similarly, GIC housing, LIC housing finance, and of course the old favorite Canfin Homes are all buzzing in the trade. And then you have metal stocks such as NMDC and fertilizer stocks. So it's really hard to narrow down a sector which is not performing within the wider PSU basket. Sakshi.
Right, and rightly you point out, Shell, that it's the defense space stocks that are hogging all the limelight. Now within this, it's the shipbuilder stocks which we speak about many times on our shows, and interesting data coming in that the shipbuilder stocks of India have added nearly 1 lakh crore rupees in market cap in this year so far, in the first 6 months alone. And of course, Cochin Shipyard, the outperformer among the 3 shipbuilder stocks, it has added about 41,000 odd crore rupees to its market cap in 2024 as well. Remember, these are the stocks that are trading at record high levels. They're gaining for the last 3 to out of the last 5 odd trading sessions at a stretch on Tuesday. And these stocks are something which have added 90,000 crore rupees to their market cap in over the last 6 months order. So if you look at Mazagon Dock, it has surged about 82% so far in 2024. Garden Reach has doubled so far this year, gaining about 107 odd percent in just 6 months. Cochin Shipyard has outperformed by a distance, having surged nearly 240% already in the first 6 months of this year. And all these three stocks are now inching higher, almost 8 to 10 odd percent odd or so. So those are the shipbuilder stocks that are buzzing in trade right now. Apart from this, again, we are looking at a whole host of other stocks. Of course, Paras Defense is one. That's again at another 20% circuit in trade today. Second straight session for which we've actually seen Paras Defense hit that 20% upper circuit. And it's the kind of deals that are taking in that we have actually seen the stock really hover higher in trade. So it's the defense space that continues to be in the thick of action, and we will be speaking to our guests to help us understand more on these defense moves. Okay, Kush Gudasara is now with us on this special edition. Kush, warm welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time out, and warm welcome to you. Do tell us what is the kind of expectation that you have from these defense moves, and how are you understanding this move? Are you staying away, or are you actually taking a dip here?
Good afternoon, and thank you for inviting me. Definitely, I think I'm taking a bet on defensive stocks. I think market should move towards 24,000 in near term, and I believe defense stocks could outperform. And these defensive bets like FMCG and IT could also outperform. So yes, I'm pretty much positive. Maybe Cochin Shipyard, Mazagon Dock, Dalmia Bharat, VEL. These all stocks are looking good. They all are ready to launch, but we just need some support from the volume side, because throughout the day I'm not witnessing any volumes on this counter. So once we receive some volumes, I think other defense stocks would also start performing. So stay positive on the markets, and I believe we may see new highs in coming days.
Okay. Good afternoon to you, Kush, and a very warm welcome on Market Today. What a wonderful Tuesday to have you with us. There is no stopping defense counters, and there is no stopping the participation that is there in terms of volume, in terms of delivery, and of course in terms of the percentage change that we are seeing for positives as far as these stocks are concerned. Any favorites that you would have within this space which may not have performed as sharply as the shipbuilder stocks have?
No, currently I think these stocks are only in strong momentum, so I will play with this momentum. Other stocks are not yet coming up with a strong momentum, so we will wait for other stocks to perform well. But rather we will play on this counter again. Maybe Mazagon Dock, I am looking at the intraday chart, and if they come, give a correction of around 1% in intraday, I'll still go long around 4,080. So I think I will stay with these two stocks for short-term trading perspective.
Okay. Sakshi, I'll just read you some very important data. Remember, you were just talking about how Garden Reach, Cochin and Mazagon have performed in terms of price rise. Look at how the delivery patterns have changed dramatically. I'll request the PCR to fire Garden Reach on the screen. The counter is up 11% today, and the volume is 1.17 crore shares so far. Now now starts the magic. Look at how Friday the stock rose about I think 17%, and the volume was 1.19 crore shares, Sakshi. In that, about 14% converted to delivery, which is 16.64 lakhs, and the 5-day average is 8.3 lakhs. So delivery volume has doubled. More importantly, the stock has again appreciated. So those people who picked up delivery on Friday are still deep in the money. And look at BEL, very similar story in terms of deliveries. On Friday, 6.74 crore shares were traded, out of which 34% or 2.3 crores turned into delivery. The 5-day average is 1.76 crore. So this rise that is coming is accompanied by an increase in delivery as well. Therefore, one must presume that although it is speculative in nature, but sensible people at least are picking up delivery. Sakshi.
Okay, we'll keep an eye out on this. Kush, apart from the entire defense space that we've been discussing, how are you really looking at the other PSU names, something like railways, for example? Does that also interest you?
Yes, definitely. IRFC interests me. Definitely, right now it's currently pretty much flat, consolidating around 175 level. But I think IRFC is a good buy at current level. As I can look at the chart, 10-day moving average is taking support around 170. We should buy that stock for pre-budget rally, and I could see on the charts that 192 is the first target above which we could activate the target for 220.
Okay, so that is IRFC and that's your top choice within the railway space. How about the wagon makers, something that has been in the thick of action of late as well? So JWR, Titagar Rail, how are you looking at these particular stocks?
Maybe these stocks are not looking so interesting as of now to me. Rather, I would stay with the IRFC or IRCON because Titagan, it's very much volatile stock during this time. But I think if you are with IRFC or IRCON or IRCTC, if anything goes wrong and if the price moves towards the south after the budget, but these are good stocks are good for longer term run. So it's a pretty much safe bet. If things go wrong, still you can hold this stock for longer term. So rather than wagon stocks, I will simply stay invested in IRFC.
Okay, so that's the railway space again. Apart
Sakshi,
from this, Kush, are you also looking at the private banks, for example, the ones that are actually leading from the front today? It was CLSA that early morning I had referred to that report saying that private banks which have been underperformers will be now, the outperformers. And we're already seeing some of them really gain sharply in trade today. The index is up by 1%. How are you really looking at the banking story, now play out, especially the private bank majors?
Definitely, if we look at private sector banks, in fact, overall banking index, if we first talk about, we have not yet crossed the high of say 4th of June, which was around 50,650. So still, if we want Nifty to cross 24,000, banking stocks should take a lead, and particularly in that, as you rightly mentioned, private sector banks have underperformed. One of the stock which I have been tracking or which I have my eyes glued on since last week is ICICI Bank futures, because it has been since last 1 week it is in the range of 1105 to 1124. So once we break 1124 on the ICICI Bank future, in the shorter term I think Bank Nifty will outperform, and particularly private sector bank, I think ICICI Bank could give a fast short covering rally to 1180. So have your watch list with ICICI Bank as of now.
Okay. Sakshi, we'll focus on one part of the sector, which is the fertilizer space. And the reason why it needs mention is that the rains are now spreading across India as far as monsoon is concerned. And you see a very, very sharp rise in price as well as volume. Look at FACT, which is fertilizers and Travancore. This is at 881, 13% higher, and already 4 times the volume has been traded, about 71 lakh shares. Look at how you are seeing a very sharp move coming in National Fertilizers, 6% higher, 122. Look at another stock which is GNFC, 2.9% higher, 704, and of course Rashtriya Chemicals and Fertilizers, RCF, 4% higher, 175. Very, very strong breakouts are coming in this space. Then we need to also look at perhaps the the trading companies which are government owned but are primarily looking at the metal space. So this will be MMTC 9% higher, then STC India, and of course our erstwhile favorite MSTC. These three companies are also attracting a lot of attraction in terms of both volume and price. So these are the segments that are doing pretty well. Kush, what would be your favorite fertilizer stock on the charts?
Definitely today all these stocks have given a good breakout. So they all look good today to me. But I think Chambal Fertilizer, maybe it's at a life high almost, but still indicators are looking good and strong. So I will go with Chambal Fertilizer. Momentum is good. 420 can be a stop loss for positional trade for next 2 to 3 days. I believe once we break the 440, which was even a previous high, we could see a quick rally to 462. So Chamber Fertilizer is my pick for short term. 420 strict stop loss, 460 can be a target.
70 points higher on the Nifty, Sakshi, 400 points higher on the Nifty Bank, and about a double century on the IT space. What else is clicking in gains? I think let's look at the FNO stocks. We haven't paid much attention to how open interest is rising. Two stocks come into mind: M&M Financial Services, 2.4% higher, and of course Shriram Finance. Coming to M&M Financial Services, Kush, this is something that you need to look at. Very, very strong build-up of long positions, higher delivery, and of course the price is also in sync with the open interest. What are the charts telling you?
Definitely, M&M Financials, if you look at the charts, we have been registering at the same level of around 310 since almost last September. In September series, we registered at 310. Again, in the month of Feb, we registered at the same level. And again, in the month of April, we have registered around 310. So I think, pretty much 310 is pretty much strong resistance for the future levels. So unless and until we close about 310, I won't go long. Rather wait for one more day of confirmation. So yes, indicators are good, but since we have registered at this level for the last 4 times in 8 months, I would rather wait for a confirmation. So 310 is my level of trigger.
Okay, got that. So that's the view coming in on that. I will just highlight one stock which is in the red right now, and that is Jubilant Pharma. There is news which has led to this reaction on the downside, 3.8% lower for the stock. US FDA has issued 15 observations for the company's manufacturing facility in Montreal in Canada, and this is why we are actually seeing the stock slip away. That's the news that is coming in. Overall, the pharma space is long forgotten. Kush, how are you really looking at the entire space unfold? There was some momentum, some time ago where we were looking at stocks like Divi's Laboratories, Sun Pharma, Cipla, all of them, Apollo Hospitals making a comeback. What is your own strategy when it comes to pharma space?
So, if you ask for me or for a longer term perspective, as an investor, I rather prefer doing SIP in pharma thematic fund because it's pretty much difficult to predict which medicines will perform in longer term phase. So, as a long term investor, I always advise people to go with Tata Pharma thematic fund for investment. For the short term, I think pharma index has given a pretty much rally, and I think we must rest over here. If CNX pharma index breaks 19,400. I think a quick sell-off is coming on pharma stock. So for a short-term trade, I would be staying away from the pharma stocks. Rather, I would start SIP in the pharma sector.
Okay, got that. So that's the view coming in on the pharma space as well. The other space that I was looking at interestingly is the consumer durable space that is actually seeing a lot of action in trade today, especially one stock that Shell, even you had highlighted in the morning, and that is Titan, that finally began to move. And now the company has come in its annual report has said that the company now aims to reach revenues of $500 million and serve 5 lakh international customers by FY27. So that's the kind of ambition that Titan really has. Titan has been a kind of sideways performer. Where do you see the prices for this stock really headed now, Kush?
Titan, I think, stock is a very good stock for long-term investment, but recently we had seen a deep correction, and now just 2 days back we have got a breakout. Breakout is crucial because we were trading below 200-day average until last week, but again we have gained confidence of investors, and we are above 200-day average, and 200-day average is generally level of benchmark for investment. So a long-term investor can go long at current levels. 3500, 3480 is the stop loss, and target can be more than 4800 for the investment. But for a short term trade, 3520 is my stop loss, and we could see a quick rally to 3680. So for both perspective at current levels, it looks good.
Sakshi, we'll focus on two stocks where we are getting a very, very nice breakout. Canfin Homes, and if you recollect, we had spoken about a company called Automobile Corporation of Goa Limited. This is a bus maker. This is based, of course, out of Goa and is from the stable of the Tatas. Both of them are doing phenomenally well, yes. But Canfin Homes, I think this is a record high. The previous one was, I think, 888 or something. So keep an eye on this one. And of course, you have a blowout that's happening on Automobile Corporation of Goa Limited. I wonder if we can show the stock price. It's ACGL, if that's possible. I think 2500 is a fresh record high on those. And if you remember GMR Infra, we've been talking about this stock for the last week or so. Again, the Andhra Pradesh linkage, and of course the linkage to the newly installed Modi 3.0 government. Kush, a very quick view on GMR Infra.
Definitely, I think GMR Infra would do good because if I'm not wrong, two of the major airports of Andhra Pradesh are with GMR Infra, and I think the announcements are pretty much encouraging for the company that development will be happening at those airports. So we are seeing a fresh breakout, but price-wise we may be at a higher price. But as an indicators level, we are still starting a new rally. So I think 94.40. So approximately 94 can be a stop loss. Buy for short term for 99 and 102 levels. But for a longer term, with the same stop loss, we can go into stock for 140 levels.
Okay, got that. So that is the kind of view that we are getting from Kush. Kush, what else looks positive to you within the markets right now? Any particular pocket, segment or sector that you are identifying where the outperformance could start coming in now from?
Definitely, as we already mentioned about the IT banking stocks, that private sector banks like ICICI Bank and HDFC Bank are looking good to me. But even the IT stocks which have underperformed, so something like TCS, I think TCS has taken support at 200 average in the morning when it gave some profit booking. So TCS future is on my radar. The stop loss is around 37.70. Target on BTST can be 3900. While positionally we may see 4100. So it's a safe bet if someone doesn't want to play with the volatility. So then you can bet on TCS. If you want to play with the volatility, go with ICICI Bank.
Okay. All right, got that. Well, Kush, apart from this, I also wanted to discuss with you, what about the entire consumption theme? It was brought up as the big bang newest sector that you should be now staying with, start investing in, as rural theme will start buzzing. We're already seeing, like Shell also mentioned, Canfin Homes and the affordable housing space really buzz in trade. But overall, the large consumption play, the FMCGs of the world, the staples, discretionary, how are you really looking at the entire story? Does it have legs, but one should be really looking at?
Definitely one stock which I have identified, from the FMCG space where we can have a rural play, also, urban play. The stock is Tata Consumer. Fundamentally, also I track the stock. So for a rural play, Tata Consumer has Tata Coffee, Tata Salt in its product line, Tata Tea even. And for the urban play, they have Starbucks, Himalayan brand of water, which is also going out multinational. So I think Tata Consumer can be your pick for next 5 years. It is a slow mover, of course, a low beta, so maybe traders don't like it. But I think I remember when I in my shout out years, I used to go for CCDs, and that time we could only see CCDs in our city. But now it's all replaced by Starbucks around India. So I think that could be a major turnaround. And Tata Salt, of course, we know is have a good branding image in each and every rural customer. So when rural area is going for branding and urbanization, they will ask for Tata Salt. So I think it's a good play on Tata Consumer. 1070 can be a stop loss for investment, which is 200-day average and pretty much nearby. And target can be 1800 plus in next 1.5 years.
Okay. Let's focus on the auto ancillary space. Yesterday I had marked shocker maker Gabriel, where the products from Gabriel are used in both four-wheelers and two-wheelers, and they also make the sunroof that you see in a lot of high-end cars. On the move today is Sakshi Precall. Needless to say, it's a record high, and the counter is up 10% on very, very strong volumes of about 20 lakh shares. The other stock that has gained my attention is Landmark Cars. Remember, Landmark Cars was an IPO that came about mid of last year, and what's Sakshi good? This came in December of 2022, so exactly 18 months, and very recently Mercedes has announced a 3,000 crore rupee expansion in India, and the largest car dealership for Mercedes in India is Landmark Cars. The counter is still below 200 DMA, but a strong move is coming into this one as well. And of course, forging company Ramakrishna Forgings, better known as RK Forge. This is also at a record high, 811 rupees. So please keep these stocks on your radar. These are again, as I said, momentum plays, and a recently closed NFO on the automotive space in the fund industry is on the prowl. Therefore, you see movements such as these in old world companies that are 30-40 years old. Precall actually makes the dials of cars, the oil meter, where you see a lot of changes happening in temperature and so on and so forth. So these are the two stocks that are doing extremely well in the auto ancillary space. Let's look at some other stocks that are doing pretty well. Motherson Sumi we've highlighted at a record high, that's at 78 rupees, 6% higher. And of course some of our old favorites, Exide, fresh record high, 4% up. Timken India 3.5% here, 47.42. Sakshi.
Okay, got that. So that's the move coming in on the auto ancillary space as well. Well, apart from this, what we should be looking at currently is the kind of move that we are seeing on Nifty Bank. A strong surge, 0.8% higher, now 50,400 and above, and the entire sector is buzzing with thick action, with of course the private banks really taking the lead. And there's an interesting report also that actually suggests that HDFC Bank which has contributed only a 1/5 of the rally in the last 6 years, and just half the contribution from ICICI Bank. The Nifty has gained about 8.2%, but it's the Nifty Bank that has, of course, doubled in the last 6 years, but it's the HDFC Bank's contribution that has been laggard. But now, going forward from here, from about 50,000 to 60,000, it could be HDFC Bank that could be leading that rally from the front. And this is from Goldilocks research that this report has come in. Your own sense, Kush, how are you looking at HDFC Bank?
Definitely, I think HDFC Bank is a good stock for investment, but you should look at a FD investment. I don't think it will be high beta now because the base is strong after the merger. Balance sheet is huge, so growth rate might not be that big in the absolute terms, but it's definitely we may see a good rally because 200-day average is at 1500, and this is the only banking stock from private sector bank from the front line, which is just around 200-day average, while other all stocks are above the average for 5 to 7% above. So I think HDFC Bank is a good stock to invest at current levels. 1526 is your stop loss, and target can be 1840. So don't buy it for a short-term trade or don't buy call options, but rather buy plain vanilla delivery.
Okay, got that. So that's the view coming in on the leader from the private sector bank in the banking space. Yes, sir.
Sakshi, there was a time when we used to discuss that it's very difficult for traders to make intraday money in Reliance Industries. This was maybe 1 year ago, and it's ditto for HDFC Bank. People can throw statistics at you कि निफ्टी इतना चल गया, HDFC बैंक ने कुछ नहीं किया, it's the heaviest weighted component in Nifty Bank and Nifty, therefore it should now start flowering, so on and so forth. They used to say the same thing about Kotak 1 year ago कि 4 साल से कुछ नहीं हुआ, therefore we should start looking, but the fact is that nobody really knows when the kicker will come in. Therefore, it's always best to accumulate these stocks on a regular basis. हर महीने 2, 4 या 5 shares HDFC Bank के लेते रहिए. Over time, your average will be less than the current market price, and you will be making money. Kotak genuinely hasn't done anything for 5 years, and the quality of the balance sheet 5 years ago was just as the same as it is today. So there is a difference between a good stock and a good company, and there are often instances in the market in blue chips where good stocks and good companies are two separate things. So good companies are HUL, Kotak, HDFC Bank that have done nothing for the last 5 years, and good stocks are including Infosys. Infosys also hasn't done anything for the last 5 years, and good stocks are Cochin Shipyard, HAL, Garden Reach, Mazgaon, where money has not tripled but gone 10 times. Sakshi.
Absolutely, that I will remember, Shell. A very interesting line that you have said there. Good stocks and good companies, two very different things to track in the stock markets, and we'll definitely keep that in mind for sure. The other space that I'm watching out at is the IT space again. A laggard thus far, but finally showing signs of pickup in some of the stocks at least. So Wipro 3% higher, Persistence 2.5% higher, LTI Mindtree, Coforge up by 1%. But some of the stocks are actually advancing sharply. Quick Heal Technologies, I think it is higher in now about double digits. So let's pull up that stock and see if that one is in double digits right now. And let's meanwhile ask Kush if he has a view on the entire IT pack as well. Large caps versus the mid cap IT space. Kush, how are you really looking at such stories?
Definitely, as I said, TCS is looking good from the large cap. It's a safe bet because it has bounced back from 200-day average today morning, and I believe stock has a potential upside of 5 to 7% on a medium term basis. But from the mid cap, I like InfoEdge, Naukri.com. I believe stock has been consolidating around 6,000 levels since last 2 weeks. But I think now it is ready for a big move. So with the stop loss of 6,040, a mid cap ID stock like InfoEdge is looking good. Target can be 6,400 for the short term, while for the long term we may see 6,600.
307, gentlemen. This is just 23 minutes of trade left on this Tuesday afternoon. It's panned out very well. Let's look at the advanced decline in the market, because that's a harbinger and an indicator of how participation has been on the long side. When you look at stocks that are trading in the green, they number 1348 on the National Stock Exchange, compared with almost 965, 970 that are in the red. What's an outstanding show that has come in today is the Nifty Energy Index. Out of 10 shares, 9 have been in the green. The index itself is at 41,305, a decent 0.5% uptick. And of course, Nifty Bank, out of 12, 11 stocks have ended in the green. The Realty Index is the showstopper today. Out of 10 stocks, 9 are in the green, and the counter itself is up 2.2% at 1155. One stock that needs attention, and we haven't discussed it much, is Kajaria Ceramics. This is a quasi real estate play, and is now showing signs of life with very, very heavy volumes. For the moment, somewhere like 14 lakh shares have been traded, and the counter shot up by 5.5%. This is from 200 DMA. Kush, what are Kajaria Ceramics chart telling you?
Definitely, Kajaria Ceramics, I think it's a good chart. I believe we should go long at current levels, buy, because 200 average, which was at 1280, was facing resistance since the month of Feb. But now we are with heavy volumes crossed over that landmark, and now that is going to act as a good support. So 1280 is a stop loss. Kajaria Ceramics can go up to 1600. I believe the news of maybe gas coming into GST, which will bring down cost of all the ceramic industries in Morbi, which use gas as a raw material. So that is one of the positive which can turn around the margins of industry.
Okay, and Sakshi, we'll again mark Cochin Shipyard. There's an interesting development that's happened. There's a digit change. Now the counter is above 2300. This one needs a bit of attention. And okay, where is it? Okay, yes, 10% higher. So the first 15-minute circuit will now come into place. So two 10%, which is Premier Explosives and Cochin Shipyard, and of course Paras Defense at 20%. Now what is really interesting is that Cochin Shipyard has a volume of about 2,315. What's the volume today? Just a moment, please. Let me just get this data, which is absolutely correct. I don't want to go wrong on this one. At the moment, Cochin Shipyard has shown a volume of 2,432 crores, which, if you look at the 5-day average of Cochin Shipyard, is just 1,293. So double the volume of 5-day average. Mazgaon Dock has a volume of 3,900 crores, and again the 5-day average is 2,357 crores. We'll be watching the delivery percentage and of course the price rise on both these counters. Please keep this in mind. Of course, there's no stopping Hindustan Aeronautics. Now the transaction value is 5,100 crores, Sakshi.
Okay, there's one stock that I need to mark that has made its debut today. I marked it in the morning also, Lee Travenues, the operator of Ixico. The issue price was 93, the listing price was 138. The stock is now hovering at 165, 166 odd levels. That is a 78% gain. When we look at the kind of move that we have seen on the stock on day one in trade today. Kush, I know it's an absolutely fresh stock, no charts for you, but have you looked at the kind of move that we've seen here on Ixigo, and what would you really suggest viewers?
Definitely very short story. So definitely can't say anything on a daily basis, but on an hourly chart, it still looks good. I think one should hold it. Maybe we may see few more percentage of move as market is overall in momentum. So I think hold the stock.
Okay, got that. So that's the entire move that's coming in on the debut maker in trade today, and that is from the travel space. Let's discuss this theme a little further, Kush. How about the entire travel tourism space? Are you looking at the hotel space? That was also one segment that was also a favorite of all the analysts across the board. So stocks like Indian Hotels, Lemon Tree, but of course they've had their good run up. What next for such stocks within the travel space and hotel hospitality space?
Definitely two stocks, which I love at current levels, which are associated with travel. One is for Is My Trip. I think Is My Trip is at a good level to buy the stock for 6 to 8 months of period. I think they are the only startup since 2008 which has been profitable on Y-on-Y basis, and I think they will have good booking numbers at this quarter. So Is My Trip is one of my favorite stock for investment point of view on longer term basis. If you look at levels, 200-day average is at 42. So luckily today most of the stocks which we are discussing are just crossing over 200-day average. So this is a good time to buy and right time to do the show. So 42 is the stop loss. Ismatric can see 52 level by Diwali. And second stock, which is not much discussed but plays an important role for traveling is the luggage bag space, and Safari Limited is looking strong at current levels. Fundamentally also it has done great. So it has a double bonanza in this quarter because education institutes reopen. So the Safari is top 5 in India for school bags and even travel bags. So I think Safari Limited, everyone should watch out for this quarter to play the travel business momentum, because other stocks like ITC, EIH, Indigo are at very high valuation. But this stock Safari is at again 200 level, 2000 mark. Once we reach 2100, Safari Limited could witness a quick move to 2400. So I believe Ismatrip and Safari are the stocks you should play for the traveling business bonanza.
Okay, Sakshi, it's becoming a bit of a monotony when we keep on marking digit changes in defense counters. It seems that we'll get a close of above 1900 for Garden Reach. It's already 1888. Let's see how it goes. In terms of percentage, Garden Reach is doing a very nice 16% rally. I wish I could say it looks overstretched, but I've been saying this for days and days, and there's absolutely no stopping this one. So that's the point that's being made by the market against me. Be that as it may, very strong move coming in ICICI Bank also. I think the level that you see on ICICI Bank is 1121, 1.3% higher. I think Kush began his conversation with us with a quote on ICICI Bank. Would you like to revisit this one, Kush?
Yes, definitely still a good buy, sir, because 10-day moving average is at 1122 on the futures are in little bit discount because of dividend. So still a good time to buy for BTST. So for BTST, your stop loss can be at 1110 on the future levels, and tomorrow we may see 1132.
Fair point. Let's look at the top gainers in the F&O space combined with an open interest change. Canfin Home Sakshi 7% higher. The OI change is an incredible 24%. I can't remember this kind of move that has come in terms of OI. And we'll also look at Alchem Labs. This is not something that we discuss much, but the open interest here is at 27% higher. We'll ignore that. Coming to you, Kush, Canfin Homes.
Definitely, I think housing finance company will perform much better in coming months. But Canfin Homes has already given a good up move. So fresh entry at current level is not recommended because risk to ratio is pretty much unfavorable. But if you have already bought, say yesterday or today morning, so you can have a trailing stop loss on hourly chart is at around 845. So 845 can be a trailing stop loss and can hold the stock for at least next 2 to 3 weeks. I believe the stock will have good momentum. The life high of 909, which was in last year's July, can be a small hurdle. So 910 can be a level where short-term traders who have made position at sub 800 levels can book out.
Okay. Well, that's the move view coming in from Kush on that one. And Nifty Bank, there is no stopping now. It's moved to the high point of the day, and there is a move at 50,445 right now on the Nifty Bank. Let's look at the top contributors in terms of gains on the Nifty from the banking majors. So it's ICICI Bank that's leading with 22 points of a contribution on the Nifty. HDFC Bank is contributing 19 points. Apart from that, it's Infosys, Power Grid, Axis Bank again about 8 odd points being contributed by that. SBI is contributing about 4 points. So it's the banking space that's definitely come back in full flavor in trade, and we'll continue to look at this space. What about the PSU banking space? Not discussed that today with you, Kush, versus the private banks that you've already shared a view on. How are you really looking at the PSU names?
Maybe on a PSU names, SBI looks good. But I think, traders have lost some confidence after that mayhem sell-off on 4th June, because everyone was of a PSU flavor, and, not just banking, but TFC, REC, everyone has been trapped on the higher levels. So I think, PSU banking and PSU stocks will take some time to get that trading momentum. But definitely, if you are holding on something like SBI, it has been, concentrating at around 830 marks since last 5 days, and we should see a good move. So once we see a breakout above 50,650 on Bank Nifty, which is a 4th June high, we may see SBI working well. So, leading right now is ICICI Bank. The next leader for the banking would be SBI. So play for ICICI Bank today. Traders can book out tomorrow on ICICI Bank and shift to SBI.
Okay, got that. Let's again look at some of the other big buzzers that we can look at right now in the market. So again, it's the fertilizers and the chemical space that's doing very well. Fact, of course, was highlighted by Shell, and that's the one that's moving strongly. It's GNFC now that's moved to the high point of the day, about 3% kind of a move coming in on that one. Let's also pull up some of the other stocks like Aarti, Deepak, all of these fertilizer names as well. And let's ask Kush if this space is looking interesting to him. Kush, ahead of the monsoons, are you looking at this space? Will this garner a lot of traders' attention over the next 1 month or so?
Yes, definitely. As we had pointed out in the starting of the show, this all stocks are at good momentum. GNFC, Fertilizer, but GNFC is a stock which is a low beta stock. So for someone like investor who wants to invest for, let's say, next couple of months, GNFC is the stock from this sector. 675 can be a stop loss, which is again a 200 average, and target can be 720, above which we may see 780. So stocks look good for 8 to 10% move in next 2 months.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's just 10 minutes left, and there's absolutely no surprise here that banks are leading the rally. The index itself on the banking space is up 1%, 23,500 possibly today, and the two flag bearers of this rally, ICICI Bank and Axis Bank, are doing a fine job, as also HDFC Bank. In terms of points contribution, if you look at the Nifty, ICICI Bank has contributed 33 points to Nifty's 100 point uptick. HDFC Bank has contributed 14 points and Axis Bank about 8 points. In that background, Sakshi, what's really interesting is that without much effort, Nifty is now closing above 23,500. We had a hell of a time trying to beat 23,400, the bears there, but it seems that bulls have had a very easy day. It's just a single day when 23,500 has been in the favor of bulls, and it essentially means that possibly 24,000 is coming sooner than expected. Let's look at the option chain. I haven't paid much attention since warning on this one. Now we are looking at the expiry of June 20th as far as Nifty is concerned, and the attention is now shifted to 23,600. Fresh addition of about 20.7 lakh calls here, and a very, very strong bout of short covering happening in the money calls for 23,450, 23,400. It essentially means that bears are unwinding those positions and moving higher and higher to provide resistance at 23,600. In terms of strong supports, now 23,500 is a major, I am not very sure, but it will certainly be a record high. The intraday high today was 23,579. We are at 23,564. If you look at the weighted average of the last half an hour, we closed somewhere like 530, 545, but a very, very strong move coming in, and better than the Nifty has been Bank Nifty. It's regaining its mojo. 50,450 for you. In terms of the sheer placement of stock, again at its day's high, and let me just try and draw a daily chart. The all-time high for this one is 50,493. No, I'm seeing something else, but this is the state of play, and the day belongs clearly to the Bank Nifty components led by ICICI and Axis, and of course a very, very strong show by IDFC First Bank. Normally we don't discuss this one, but 4.5% higher on IDFC First Bank at about 81 rupees. Kush, this is the last one from my side. What are the charts of IDFC First Bank telling you?
IDFC First Bank, as a disclosure, I have recommended to my clients for a long-term investment. I think IDFC First Bank is a good stock to which can be a good multi-bagger, because private sector bank, which has a small base and which is aggressive on the marketing side and on the business side. I think again a stock which is below 200 average, which is below its benchmark index, Bank Nifty. So if you're a long-term investor, I think you should accumulate at current levels as much as you can. 74 can be a strict stop loss, which has acted as strong support there since last 2 years. And target can be 150 for the longer term investment, but for short term 86 and above which 96.
Okay, got that. Well, 5 minutes remaining. What about the BTST, STBT trades? Okay, also on IDFC Bank, it's actually broken the 200 days moving average today. So that's also important to track at this point in time. Kush, any BTST trades that you'd like to highlight?
Yeah, two BTST trade, one of which we have just discussed and which also came to my notice was GNFC. So GNFC can be a BTST around 704. Stop loss can be at 700. Target can be 720 for tomorrow. Second BTST is HCL Tech. We can buy for the stop loss of 1430. Tomorrow we may see 1455 to 1460 levels. Of course, ICICI Bank and DCS are a little bit positional with 2 or 3 days move, but these two stocks are for BTST.
Okay, got that. So that's the BTST, STBT trades. Last question to you. Well, Kush, if you could also highlight strategies for tomorrow, Nifty Bank, where do you see the levels and what would you advise traders?
Tomorrow being expiry for Bank Nifty, I would advise traders to stay away from the Bank Nifty. Already, if you have made a long position, hold it. I think once we cross 50,600 mark, we may see sharp short covering tomorrow to 50,750 to 800 levels. While if you want to go long on index at current price, Nifty is a index. 23,400 is a good stop loss. Tomorrow we may see 23,750.
Okay, got that. Well, thank you so much, Kush, for being with us on this very special edition throughout the last 1 hour, helping us and our viewers really navigate through the market moves and finding out opportunities, trading ideas as well. We are going to be heading for a record close on the Nifty Bank, about a 0.4% kind of an increase is what we have seen on the Nifty, almost 100 points of a jump, and nearly about 460 points of a jump on this one. I think we came very, very close to that 50,500 mark also on the Nifty Bank, just shied away from a few points, and there was some profit booking at those higher levels as well. Along with that, when we look at the kind of move that we are seeing across the sectors, we'll be able to see that the broader markets have done well today. Both the mid and the small caps up into the green, with the small caps leading from the front over 1% gains, 0.5% increase for the Nifty mid-cap index. But we'll also keep an eye out on India VIX. Remember, after a long haul, again 2.4% of an uptake, 13 levels is what we are seeing there. Among the sectors, of course, it's the banking space that led the rally from the front, including both private banks, financial services, PSUs, all of them rallying. IT space threw up some probably gainers as well. We've also seen Realty space, which we did not discuss too much, but of course Realty space has been in the thick of action. We've been discussing this ad nauseum. Now consumer durables is another space that did very well. So barring just the oil and gas, which was absolutely flat, pharma that was just about 0.4% down, metals that were just flattish with a negative bias, rest of the sectors they in fact ended in the positive zone again. Again, looking at the top contributors on the positive side, it was HDFC, ICICI, Infosys, Power Grid, Titan and Axis Bank as the top contributors on the Nifty. On the downside, you had Maruti, ITC, TCS not contributing within that IT pack, Ultratech Cement, Dr. Reddy's and Tata Motors and Tata Steel as well. So some of the Tata Group stocks that were lower in trade today. Shell, anything else you want to add?
Yeah, Sakshi, I think while we get enamored by how indices perform, I think the day clearly belongs to the bulls as far as individual stock movements are concerned. Very, very heavy volumes on mid caps and small caps, and of course the defense space. More or less, people are ignoring blue chips. And how is that evident? You just need to look at the top 20 traded stocks on the National Stock Exchange and see how many of them are from the Nifty or even the Nifty Bank. And it's surprising that apart from HDFC Bank and ICICI Bank, which has really low volumes on comparison, there are stocks like M&M which are 1,455 crores. You normally don't see M&M in the top 10 traded. There is HFCL 5% higher, 124, about 1,700 stocks traded. My throat is sore talking about defense, and I just keep quiet now. Top 6 traded counters are defense only. And it's the same theme, Sakshi. A fund is open, an NFO is open for defense, and one feels really sorry for the fund manager because he'll be buying once the entire money is allocated, and he'll be buying 30, 40, 50% higher. Be that as it may, a very strong closing, 23,560 and 23,500 has very, very easily come in the favor of bulls. Tomorrow will be a better day. Weekly expiry for the Nifty Bank, and of course T-1 for Nifty. Sakshi.
All right, with that, viewers, we'll wrap it up at that, but do stay tuned on to Business Today as we continue to get you all the action from the world of business and finance beyond the stock market hours as well. Stay with us.
Now, I have been given a pretty daunting challenge by Ayush. I have to create the best content, but I've